Good morning, everyone. If you're joining us live, or you'll join us live soon, and if you're watching the replay, welcome to another session between me and, or rather, my colleague and I, bad English, Khairiyah Safeda and I, where we will be talking this time about networking in the legal profession. So, in our last live, we spoke about personal branding. And so today we're going to talk about the importance of networking, or as I like to break it down further, relationship building, because networking is ultimately about making those connections, nurturing those relationships, and then getting opportunities and business and clients out of those relationships. Okay, so I think Khairiyah is in the house, so I'm just gonna wait for her to come. So please, you can, obviously there's no one here for questions, but if you are watching the replay on my YouTube channel at Law Mom Lisa on YouTube, you're welcome to put any questions in the comments, and we will do our best to answer. Okay, I'm getting better at this Instagram live thing, so bear with me. I have improved. And if you're watching this on the replay as well, if you have any ideas for more similar events, then, or if you want to come on, join live, come live with me and talk about something that's in the profession that has worked for you, then of course send me a DM here on LinkedIn, or you can put it again in the comments on my YouTube channel where this will be uploaded. But we want to have these conversations, and of course we want to do our best to not make them seem too unattainable, because like we're going to touch on today, networking is one of those skills that you need to start early with, because it's going to, again, it's all about relationship building. So the earlier you start building the relationship, then of course you forge nice connections, you lay down some roots, as it were, in the profession, and you can always leverage those relationships, so they will come back and pay it back to you at some point, right? So welcome, my friend.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Today you are dots and I'm flowers.
Yeah.
The last day we both had the
We had
same colored
white.
jerseys.
Yeah, we were all wearing white last week,
The
Friday. It was chilly last week,
weather's
Friday.
nice today.
Yes, nice and sunny. Good
Yeah.
morning, everyone. My name is Khairiyah Safeda. I'm the founding director of Safeda and Associates. And today, Lisa and I thought it would be a really good idea to talk about networking. What is networking? Why should you network? The different types of networking. And I think whether you are a seasoned professional or you're just starting out, networking is very important for your professional development. And it's very important to build and continue to nurture those connections. So hopefully you will learn something today and gain some practical tips. I'll share some of my experiences, and I'm sure Lisa will too. And hopefully during the live, we should answer any questions that you have been thinking about and give you the courage to go and attend some networking events.
Okay. So you have the script, so
I'll
I'll
start.
let you
I'll start.
launch into the
Uh,
first point.
so, yeah, let's talk about what is networking. And I think everybody's got their own idea of what is networking, but
Hmm.
everybody, in a nutshell, it's you go to an event and you meet as many people as you can, and you swap business cards. And that is what
Mhm.
a lot of people think networking is all about. To a certain extent, it is. Yes, you do meet people, but I don't think it's about having a particular number in mind. Oh, I must meet 20 people today. I think it's more about the quality of your connections, right?
Mhm.
Meeting 20 connections that doesn't help you or your business or you have no synergy with
Mhm.
is actually a complete waste of time. Whereas if you just meet two people who could actually help you, that would be a lot better. So I don't think it's about the number, the quantity of people that you meet, or how many networking events you attend. It really is about the quality of your connections, because as the saying goes, your net worth is equal to your network. So it's about having really good connections in your network. And ultimately, a lot like personal branding, networking is about making the best impression, and it's your first impression with this person also. And we all know to a certain extent, people do judge you on your first impression, and you want to make a good first impression. So, of course, you need to be dressed well, have good manners, know how to introduce yourself. You need to have really good conversation skills, and it needs to feel almost organic and natural. And I think what's great about in-person networking events is that you can get a feel for the person and their energy and their personality, which perhaps in an online event you might not be able to pick up. As a lot of people say, it's whether you vibe together, you have a good energy between the two of you. You have good conversation, the conversation's flowing, you have interest between each other. um,
Mhm.
those are all things that's going to help you to build a really good connection and a really good relationship. Even if initially you don't draw on the connection, or they can't help you in any way, it might take months or years from now where they might turn around and say, oh, wait, I know this lady, she's in my network. Um, I'm selling my house. I could ask her to help me. That's really, it's a long-term game. It
Mhm.
doesn't always happen that immediately um, the connection you build will yield results. And that is why starting your networking journey as well as your personal branding journey early on is very important.
Mhm.
Rather start it now than later. Um, there was a statistic where they said it takes something like 6 years to build a good network.
Mhm.
If you think about that, 6 years is a really long time to be able to draw on a network,
Mhm.
and to build trust, because the person you are talking to needs to trust you. And that's where I think the likability comes in. Oprah Winfrey says most successful people are likable.
Mhm.
If you're not likable, I think that it's going to be very difficult for you. You need to be likable, you need to be approachable. People need to feel at ease with you, that they can trust you, and hopefully open up so that you can build a relationship.
Mhm.
And with the end in mind that hopefully they become a client, or maybe they refer work to you, or they promote your business for you.
Mhm.
I don't know your
Yeah.
thoughts on networking and what your experiences has been, but I always feel like there's always a positive. There can't be a negative with networking. The same with personal branding. There's only
Mhm.
positives. It can open up doors for you, can create opportunities. It's building relationships. Perhaps the person might need your services in the future. Perhaps they invite you to another event. Perhaps they invite you to work on a project. Perhaps they want you to speak at an event. Um, I think networking is very, very important if you want to promote yourself and your
Mhm.
business and your skills. It's another form of marketing in a sense, in the same way that personal branding is a form of marketing, but it's a lot more personal, I think, and it's a lot more one-on-one, whereas personal branding is very can be very broad, especially if you're doing
Mm,
it on social media. Whereas now with networking, you really narrow down, okay, I want to meet this
mm,
person or attend that particular event or join that organization. So I think for professional development, it's very important, and there
mm,
can only be positives for you as a person and for your business.
mm. Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I think for me, when it comes to definitions, I've started defining things as what they are not in order to get a clearer picture of what it is. So the way we generally perceive networking and why I like to debunk it as just relationship building, because when we think about networking, it's a very technical term, and it kind of gives off this vibe of, you know, we're just linking up with people. Um, it doesn't put out any implication that there are real people involved. So I think what we used to networking being, or what we've observed, is that it's just, you know, going to events to get stuff, or going to events to be a consumer, you know, like put me in touch with this person, or give me a job, or you know, will you be my client? You know, like you said, there's so many purposes to networking. And I think if we get that out of the way, like it's not about, it is about you, it's not about you. It's not about you in the sense that you must really want to build a relationship with another person in your profession. And it's about you in the sense that you want to put yourself out there, you want to gain some traction within the profession. You want to become known. And as you rightly said, and as we discussed yesterday in our prep session, you want to be known for being a good person, right? So, and I said, your skill, even whatever you might end up like marketing or punting or promoting, you must actually be wrapped up in the kind of person that you are. So if you make a nice, likable impression, I think even a lay person will be more inclined to call you back based on the impression that you made on them, and not so much about what you can do. So I think we must just get out of our heads this notion that networking it's only for me. Okay, you must actually, like, again, there are lots of like links to personal branding, because personal branding, at least the version that I preach, is that you must always be adding value. So if you use that same approach with networking, and you go into that networking event, or you know, you reach out to somebody, just have a call with them, it must really be about adding value to the other person. You know, like you entering this not because you want anything, but because you want the other person to be promoted, or you want to give them a step up on your platform if you have a bigger platform. And of course, that alone will reap a lot of results. And I can testify to that. I'm sure you can testify to that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing something for the good, just doing something for the good. I mean, these lives are an example, perfect example of that. There's nothing in it for me except to grow my Instagram following. Um, but it's really about promoting my colleagues. So I've got a whole array of colleagues within the field, outside of the field, like, you know, collaborative disciplines that we lawyers make use of. And it's just to put you guys out there and to say, okay, you guys have something to say. So I'm literally, I guess you can say, taking my my relationship with each colleague to the next level by saying, hey, come on a live, you talk about the thing that you're good at, and I will just, you know, we can have a mutual discussion, and of course it's for the benefit of everybody. So it's really a showcase for my colleagues, not really a showcase for me. You know, so that, I mean, that for me is a good example of just, when you enter a relationship, when you enter a new collegial relationship, to network and to build on what you might have initially started it, you must just be selfless about it, I think. And
Yeah.
the opportunities will come. And again, if I can give an example, like just now before we went live, I had I hosted another colleague of mine, Pam Padiachi, on, I don't know, was it a week and a half ago? And she had a meeting with another person, and she mentioned my name there. And now we're going to be doing something there together. That's going to be a good business opportunity. So, I mean, just me having her on a live and getting her to talk about what she wants to talk about. I didn't say, Pam, I want this, I want that in exchange for the live, like that's going to be like a quid pro quo. But I mean, it turned out to be a nice early birthday present for me. Because tomorrow's my birthday. So I was like, wow, that's like really nice. And it was all because, I mean, and she and I connected some time ago. And I didn't really do anything with it until this year, where I said, okay, let me just try to reignite these fires that I made contact with all these people last year, or they reached out to me. So let me try and take it to the next level. And of course, I invited her on a live, as I've done with some of my colleagues, including you. And look where it's unintentionally led, right? So, and I mean, cheers to more collaborations in the future. I mean, I don't know where our relationship will go, you know, um, beyond content creation, probably. But yeah, I mean, that's just the power of going into professional relationship building, not for to get anything out of it. If you get anything out of it, it's just like this payback kind of thing that should come, as you mentioned, organically, as opposed to saying, I'm entering the relationship with you because I want to become the in-house counsel for your firm, It's like some people have those really, what I would call very cold clinical goals. Like I'm going in, like I'm laser focused. I want to get this from you. So I'll do what I have to do. Maybe not in a manipulative way, but the end goal is for them to get something out of it.
Yeah, I
And of course,
think
as we will elaborate, it's not about it's really about both parties to the networking relationship getting something out of it.
yeah, I think you've touched on a very important point. How to be an effective networker, and it's more about you giving before you receive. To
Mm,
build trust. Part of building trust is to give first, before doing a whole sales pitch. Some people, they come in like, I do this, this, and this, and this. Please give me the work. Before, I mean, that,
yeah.
like you said, that's a very cold, harsh approach. You haven't even gotten to know the person, you haven't built any trust.
Mm,
I think the worst thing to do is to start off with a sales pitch, and you don't even
mm,
know who you're pitching to. I think that 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 approach to me doesn't work, and I don't think anyone likes being sold anything. Think about all those insurance calls when they phone you like, hi ma'am, we're
uh,
from so and so insurance, do you have insurance? I mean, no one likes those calls. I mean, a lot of us end those calls or block the numbers. No one likes being sold anything. I think
yeah,
the consumer needs to almost want it themselves. It has to be
yeah.
their idea to use
Mm-hmm,
you, and the way to do that is to add value, to give rather than first expecting to receive.
mm-hmm,
And of course, likability plays into it. You need to be a very likable person, a good person, kind person, a helpful person, and you need to have very good communication skills and good conversation skills. I mean, there's
mm-hmm,
nothing
mm-hmm,
worse than going to a networking event and you're talking to someone and that person is not paying attention to you. They're not asking questions. Um, they're looking over their shoulder. Um, that kind of connection to me would never work, because already that person is showing that I'm not the most important
mm-hmm.
person to them in the room
Yeah,
at that particular
yeah.
moment. And
Mm,
I would never give work to someone who doesn't even have the decency to communicate with me properly, and focus
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah.
So I think it really starts with you being a good, wholesome person, good communication skills, and then following
Mm.
up. I think a lot of people forget to follow up. They collect all these business cards,
Yeah.
and then after that, they don't do anything. I think it's very important that after the meeting, contact them again, maybe call them, email them. Hi, would you like to meet up again? Would you like coffee? I see you attending this event. I'll be there too. Maybe we can meet up again. Um, Start building the relationship and nurturing that relationship. Keep the
Mm.
communication lines open. Connect with them regularly. You know, it's like any relationship. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have to work on all your relationships. Can't always be one-sided. So be wary of that, where you keep giving and no one's giving back to you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and be wary of people who always wants but never give anything back to you. Yeah. So try to make sure that there's some sort of reciprocity between the two of you, and that you both have good synergy. You have to have good energy between the two of you. You need to
Mm-hmm.
have, I suppose, certain alignments between the two of you, with your values, your goals, where you're going
Yeah.
to, how you
Yeah.
communicate. Otherwise, it's very difficult to continue nurturing a relationship with someone that you don't like, or that you find them annoying. So yeah, your instinct will tell you immediately, whether this person is someone you can work with or not, or whether you should
Yeah.
pursue this relationship or not. And I
Yeah.
think that's why, I think attending in-person networking events is so great, because you do get a feel for the person's energy and their
Mm.
personality, what their vibe is. Do you both gel with each other, and see if your goals and your visions align.
Mm.
I don't know if you want
Yeah.
to add anything to that.
No, no, I think you've added to my stuff. I think our next one will be the types of networking, right? So we are
Yeah, yeah,
all we are all used to attending events, but of course, networking can happen on various forms, into various degrees. So not everyone, especially an introvert, is gonna jump at a networking event. Okay, even if they take a plus one, which we'll talk about, is not something. So you wanna probably start with something small, and kind of, if you mentioned that, and we spoke about it yesterday, that networking is ideally supposed to be part of your professional development. So if you're looking at it in that way, um, if you're new at something, you'll tackle it in bite-sized pieces. And so if you take your professional development seriously and networking is an active part of that, then it doesn't have to be that you only attend an event, or you only do this, or you only do that. Right? Depending on where you are in your networking journey, you want to start small, like maybe reaching out to people on LinkedIn. So I think you want to cover the various types of
yes,
networking,
yes.
that so people know where what's good for them. And of course, if they feel brave enough to scale it up and up and up, then they know what to do next.
Yeah. So there are many types of different networking events. I mean, there are the professional networking events. I know the
Mm,
LPC has a breakfast every year. There are these fika workshops that you can attend in person. These candidate attorney association events. There's lots of professional networking events, and it's really great because you get to meet other legal practitioners,
mm,
and they can always refer work to you. And it's good to build those relationships, because a lot of us specialize in one thing or a few things. I mean, We
Yeah.
don't all do all the different types of, I don't do business rescue, for example. It would be really great if I met a business rescue practitioner. So that kind of referrals between attorneys is really great. And so attending professional networking events will help you with that. And then there's also the social networking events, book launches, movie launches,
Mm,
restaurant launches. There's tons of those that you can also attend to. And it's great because you meet people outside of your profession.
mm,
And a lot of the times, your clients might be the people outside of your profession. You might not always get work from
mm,
attorneys, depending on what, like perhaps a divorce attorney. I mean, those are generally people not in our profession
mm,
that require a divorce attorney. And then there's online networking events as well. There's lots of these. I know Momentum has the Momentum networking event. It's all online, and there's speaker workshops online. There's lots of online networking events that you can attend. Um, and there's lots, you'll see all the people who have joined, and you can take their number down or their name and their surname, sorry, and then try to search for them. Um,
mm,
and this is where your personal brand would come in. Try to search for them, connect with them on LinkedIn or Instagram. And also the same with the business cards. I mean, often when I meet someone, the first thing I do is I search for them. I search to see their personal brand. Are they on LinkedIn? Do they have other contact details? Let me reach out to them. This is why personal branding and networking go hand in hand, because the two feed
mm,
into each other. And then I think
mm.
it's also really good if you promote your attendance at an event. So if you're going to a networking event,
Yeah.
beforehand, let people know you're attending that event. Perhaps
Mm,
someone will be there that would want to meet with you, or you might want to
mm.
meet with them, and you can meet up there. And then
Yeah.
also after the networking event, post that you attended this event. Um, you might want to tag all the people that you met so that they know who you are, and they hopefully will see that you've tagged them. They click on you and they start following you in your profile, and you start building a relationship like that. And you can
Mm,
start messaging, emailing, maybe you go out for lunch or for coffee, or whatever it is. But it's really good to have, I think, attend of different types: attend in person,
mm,
attend online, attend social. I don't think that there's a particular number. I don't want to say, oh, you must do one every week or something like that. I think it
mm.
really depends on your schedule and the time.
Yeah.
And of course, some of these events you have to pay a ticket. So it depends on your budget as well.
Mm,
But there are free ones. There's lots of free ones, and I think according to your schedule, you'll have to decide which ones you want to attend.
mm.
Um, and then you don't always need to attend a networking event to network. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people have this perception that they have to attend a networking event. I'm not attending any networking events this month, but I'm meeting 6 people this month. Um,
Mm,
4 of them are new, 2 of them I've met before already. So you
mm,
don't always have to attend a networking event. You can reach out to
mm,
people organically and say, hey, I do this, you do this. Would it be great if we meet up together, see if we could help each other?
mm,
Perhaps you want to do a discovery call, or perhaps you want to meet in person. Some of the people that I'm meeting this month, I mean, I've known them for a whole year, but we've never met in
mm,
person. And for the first time, we're going to meet in person. So there's many ways you can network. I know I was speaking to another attorney, and she says, no, she just goes to different grocery stores and she stands in the queues, and then she talks to people in the queues. She makes conversation. You go to the
yeah.
bank, you're in the queue, you make conversation. I know I attend lots of sports events, and I'm at the school and I'm involved with the school. So I chat to a lot of the parents. And so
Mm,
there's lots of ways you can network. Perhaps you're at the gym, perhaps
mm,
you take a car for service. I don't know. You're constantly meeting new people. And so it's like I say, it's about being friendly and likable and just saying hi, how are you? You know, just try smiling and nodding and saying good morning or good afternoon. And perhaps it grows into an organic conversation.
I've lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were disappear. Your audio went mute for a while.
Yeah, the screen went blank. I don't know what happened. Um, but yeah, there's so many different ways that you can network. You don't have to attend a networking event to network.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the perception that a lot of people have.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really, like you said, it's what networking is not is events. I think it's not just about the event. It's you have to firstly decide that you want to network with who you want to network. Like I said, I made connections last year, didn't do anything with them. So this year I'm like, okay, do you want to hop on a live with me? Do you want to hop on a live with me? And everyone was saying yes, yes, yes. So that was like me, okay, now I'm taking it to the next level. And of course, if you just want to meet people one on one, I know I had a colleague who said, I want to get to know you outside of what we do. Right? So that's an example of social networking where you talk about stuff, you talk about, I call it talking about your context. So like where you shoot from, what, where or from what context do you do what you do? Okay. Like I said, like our skills are all wrapped up in this wonderful package that is you. Um, so yeah, it can take many forms, and it's all dependent, I think, on how much you want to build relationships. Because also building relationships, as I mentioned yesterday, it takes you out of that silo mentality that, it's my practice, it's my business, I'm hustling, I'm trying to get clients. I'm the only one that's struggling to keep my business afloat. And if you decide to build relationships and maintain these relationships, then of course you can become like a, support network or some
Mhm.
kind of a troubleshooting group where you have this reliable group of people that you can say, you know what, I need, what did you guys do in this situation? Or I'm having this find a personal problem. What have you guys done as parents in this situation? So I think it's really up to you, how you want to start. Of course, start small. You eat the elephant in little bites. So, start with the people that you know you've been talking to for a while. Maybe usually these relationships start online. Um, and start, okay, saying, okay, who do I talk to every day? Whose posts do I comment on every day? And of course, most importantly, who talks back to me? I'm a big fan of content creators that talk back to their followers. Um, I know I certainly strive to do that. And it seems like a foreign thing for most people because they're used to people not responding to them. Because when you respond, what are you doing? You start building a relationship of trust, even in a virtual space. So you can go look at all those kinds of connections that you have, maybe on LinkedIn. Mainly on LinkedIn because it is the best professional space to start your networking journey. So you just go look at all the relationships you already have there. And like you said, send them a text or send them a DM. Hey, we met up last year at this event, or we've been talking here for a while on LinkedIn, maybe for over a year, 2 years. Can we meet up in person? Or can I come to you, or you come to me? Or even if don't want to, can't, you're in two different locations, it's impossible, or too costly to travel, you can have a virtual thing, pizza party, or some kind of virtual tea, or I mean, it's really up to you how badly you want to build these relationships, and you know, just forge. I think just in effect, you're forging your path through the profession because it's not a very welcoming profession. So you have to make yourself feel welcome. And then by building these relationships, you actually like someone like you pushing yourself into someone like you're cutting a path for yourself where there wouldn't have been a path. So it's how badly you want to make yourself, and again, personal branding, how much you want to make yourself visible. And you can't make yourself visible to yourself. I mean, it's important to be able to know yourself and see yourself and acknowledge yourself, but you want to be visible to other people in your profession. You want that sense, if anything, even if you don't get work from them, you want that sense of community, and you want to be able to say, I've stamped my mark on the profession. So, start on LinkedIn, start leveraging those relationships in terms of, okay, well, not leveraging, but start scaling them up. So say, okay, I know you're here for 1 year. We're chatting on for 1 year here. Let's meet up, or let's do a virtual tea or coffee, or let's even have a virtual networking event for our colleagues who can't travel. You know, I mean, it's really, I mean, you can even become a bit of an authority in the networking space if you're that passionate about it, and you can start being the one that brings your colleagues together, right? So I think start small, start where you are, start with the relationships you have. You can certainly like send out kind of like um cold DMs, as it were, not selling anything, just saying, you know what, I've admired you. I get those DMs. I've been admiring you here for a long time. In fact, I got one this morning that said, I've been shy to reach out, but I just felt compelled to reach out. I've been following you for a while. I like your content. Can you give me advice on this? Right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll get, or you can send. This person sent me that. You can send out messages like that, and because of the way she worded it, it wasn't like, oh, can you tell me this or tell me that. She didn't just pitch it as, I want something from you. Like, I've actually had a problem reaching out, but I know what you've been doing, and I have confidence that you can help me with X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, you can send out messages like that, and people like me, I appreciate those messages. Now, of course, I didn't respond immediately because it was so multifaceted, that message, but you can make new connections that way. And what I do is when I get messages like that, and if I'm not connected, I will send them a connection request based on that message. Right? So there,
Yes.
boom, network, you build a relationship. And if I see people creating content that I feel is valuable to maybe CAs or pupil advocates or other attorneys, I'll go there and I'll comment, and then they might reach out to me in the DMs and say, thank you for your kind words. And if I so choose, I can make that connection, even take it up a couple of notches and say, okay, why don't you join my mentorship, or join this or join that, or come help me in my work, or so it's really up to you. It's a nice, I won't say it's a many-headed monster, but if you're starting, most of us start our relationships with other professionals online. So just look to where you can scale those relationships. And then, of course, if you end up attending events together, I like what you said about posting about you attending an event and posting about it afterwards. Because, I mean, short of being stalked, some people might come hoping to meet you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
they might not say, can we meet up at the event, but they say, oh, we're going to the same event. Maybe they'll comment on the post, or maybe they'll just show up and they'll say, hey, you know what? I've been following you on LinkedIn, and you know, um, I saw you were coming to this event, and I decided to come because you were coming, and I wanted to meet you. Boom! You've just scaled up the relationship with that person. They've scaled up their relationship with you by meeting you in person just through a post. So I think if once you get good at it, you can do all of the different modes of networking, side by side.
Yeah.
So you can use your
Yeah. I think
online, you can use your in-person, depending again on your schedule, your budget. I mean, I still look for the free events. Hello, like who doesn't like a freebie? I still look for those, But if you get to the stage where you can invest, and you believe that, you know, that relationship is worth that investment, then you don't look at it in monetary terms, like, oh, I'm gonna get it back if I land the deal. No, it's like how you invest in your family or you invest in your, you know, extended family. You don't do it for the sake of return. It's like you do it because, like you said outside, you just want to build a relationship. So even if it costs you a little bit, you're not looking to get it back somewhere. You're just like, okay, I prepare to pay that because it means that I get to take my relationships with people to the next level, and they get to see that I'm serious about. Like we don't like relationships where there's no investment, right? Even
yes.
romantic relationships, like if the guy is not spending anything on you, or he makes you pick up the bill every time. I mean, that's straight away. Like that's not investing in networking.
Red flag.
Big red flag, right? So if you end up investing in networking, where you go to paid events or you go to events that are out of town, um, and I mean, of course, you budget for that, then of course it tells people, you know what, that you're actually serious. You're serious enough about the relationship, the professional relationship, even the personal relationship. I know some people have gotten married off LinkedIn. I mean, even though they keep saying it's not a dating site, but people have their spouses on LinkedIn. But I think the point is if people are willing to see that you're investing in it, if you get to that stage, we're not saying if you don't invest, it's not effective. We're just saying at the outset, make the effort, consider it part of your professional development. When you get to the stage that you can afford to invest, to travel out of town, out of country to meet a colleague, um, I've got lots of them in places that I like to go. And I don't have the money now. But one day, right, when you do that, then it's like, oh wow, like she's really invested in this relationship because she's traveled all the way to the US or all the way to a small island in Greece. So when you get to that stage, you can do that, but don't let that be keep looking like us, keep looking for the free events.
I think you touched on something so important. It's about building community, right? And I think if we think about where we all started, it would be going back to who was in your class, who did you study with, who did you go to school with,
Mm,
and start reaching out to those people and make connections with those people. Hey,
yeah.
you were in my matric class. How are you? Haven't spoken to you in a while. Start, especially if you're a young lawyer, you just started out there, reach out to those people who you studied with, who you went to school with,
Mm,
your family, your friends. And then slowly start building out, and hopefully you have friends who also studied law, and then they're candidate attorneys, you're a candidate attorney, and you make connections like that, and you
mm-hmm.
can always go to the same events together or refer work to each other. It's really great like that because you build your own little community,
Yeah.
because in this profession it can be very lonely.
Yeah.
um, Especially like with me, I'm running my own business and it's only me in my business. I don't have someone that I'm working with. And so it's really great to have a support structure. And
Mm,
I'm friends with a lot of other female founders also who have their own law firm. And we chat to each other and we help each other and we regularly meet so that we can bounce ideas off of each other, give advice to each other, which is really, really
mm,
great. And it's really important because you don't want to feel isolated in any way. I think
mm,
isolating yourself is the worst thing that you can do, because all of
mm.
us need support. All of us need someone we can talk to, someone we can just vent with
Yeah.
sometimes, and just get things off our chest. Some of us
Mm,
need mentorship. So it's very, very good to have those connections and build that community. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's only positives, it can only help you with your profession and your personal development, and you get better at it over time. I know
Mm-hmm.
initially for a lot of people it's cringe, especially if you're an introvert and you don't like it. But the worst thing you can do is go to an event and you sit
Yeah.
there in the corner and you don't talk to anyone. Just if you have a goal for yourself, just meet one person. Go and introduce yourself to one person,
Yeah.
and get there. Like that should be the starting point. Just meet one person,
Yeah.
and build a relationship with them. Perhaps every day you DM one person, and just introduce yourself and see if they are interested in building a relationship with you. It's also important, like if you're on LinkedIn, perhaps there are people that you want to work with. Maybe you make a list of 10, 20 people you want to work with, and you
Mm-hmm.
make an effort every day. You make sure you follow their page and you make sure you like their posts
Yeah.
or you comment on their posts, or maybe perhaps you share their posts, so that they start becoming familiar with you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because I get people who reach out to me. Like I said, I'm meeting people that I've known for a year who have been
Mm-hmm.
following me, and I'm meeting them. And it's great because we've built this relationship already. I'm familiar with this person. I've spoken to them in my DMs. I know they follow my page. I follow their
Mm-hmm.
page. We like each other's posts. We comment on each other's posts. It's about being supportive as well. And look, it took a
Yeah.
year. It took a year to get there, but it's
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
So think
Yeah.
about who do you want to work with, who do you want to support. Make that list and make an effort every day. Okay, you're going to interact with this person, or comment or like or share, and see where that takes
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it goes also to content creation, or this whole thing about content creation being part of your personal branding. Because if you choose to connect with people in that way, so say, like you said, make that list of people, start following them, follow their company pages, and then you start commenting, as I say, comment with insights, or use, and of course, tag the author so that they see you, or you can repost their post with your own thoughts, and of course, LinkedIn treats that as a separate post as your post, tag them in that post, then they'll say, wow, this person, I personally get warmed when I see people, even if they don't repost, they don't comment, but they just use the term baby lawyer. I'll be like, okay, that's cool. Like they've adopted like they're using a term that I inadvertently made popular on LinkedIn. So I know that they're watching me, or there's some kind of connection to me. But yeah, no, if you want, I think in terms of making yourself visible on an online platform like LinkedIn, I mean, even on Instagram, if the same people have business pages and personal pages and all of those things, I mean, to the extent that they share their personal stuff, I mean, you're gonna you're gonna like, share, and subscribe, right? That's the mantra. Um, but you're gonna let them know, like I always tell, like graduates, law students especially, if you're commenting with insight, or you're reposting somebody's post with your own thoughts, like insightful thoughts, it's actually giving them a peek into your mind. And so you'll think, from a networking perspective, hey, I like the way this person thinks, or when they look at they might even be attracted to your post because they're like, you know what, I like how she thinks, or I like how he thinks. And then if you see their comments, and it's also like, I always thank people that comment with insight. I'll say thank you for adding value to my post, because sometimes it just takes the post up, maybe half a notch, one notch, or even better if they repost it with their own thoughts, because then I'm getting to see, okay, I like the way this student thinks, or this graduate thinks, or this person has potential. And then maybe it might prompt me to myself to send them a message in the DMs or tell them to reach out to me in the DMs. You know, I might have something or want to collaborate with them on a post or, you know. So in that sense as well, the person that you are commenting on whose post you're commenting on whose post you reposted with your own thoughts, if they see how you think and it aligns with how they think, or it even pushes back on how they think in a healthy way, they might say, hey, they might even welcome the pushback and say, why don't we do a post from two different perspectives? You do the pros, I do the cons, or I'll be for one side, you play devil's advocate on the other side, right? And that's why I personally, I'm creating content with colleagues. Sometimes I'll collaborate on a post, like we doing the role plays that we are recording, we're doing this. I'll invite people on my podcast. Why? Because I want people to now know that I'm connected to this person. And when I make a new connection, I often say, okay, the way I'm going to introduce you to my following, get them sort of announce our partnership, as it were. Either I'll either get you on the podcast, do an episode with you and upload it, or we just do a random recorded conversation, and then in that way, my network knows that I'm now collaborating with you, and then you start posting about the stuff you're doing with me, I get exposed to your network, right? So it's like you said, this you gotta try really hard to lose. You gotta be really selfish to lose in the networking in networking. It can only ever be a win-win, whether you intend to get something back from it or not. You can only ever win from the situation. So yeah, I think I think where we can maybe, I don't know what's the time now.
It's
Okay.
almost 12.
Um, yeah, where we can maybe land it is, you know, sometimes some of us we still need to be dug out of our seats, and even if we are sitting on LinkedIn and we're scrolling Instagram, we're scrolling LinkedIn, you're like, okay, they told me all these things. I'm still shy to reach out. I don't feel confident enough. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I come across as being stupid or naive, or there's all these, and I find the younger generation especially, they tend to gaslight themselves a lot. Um, and so they might be very intelligent, but they're just, if someone just calls them for something, they'll say, I'm probably stupid anyway. So I mean, there are organizations that you can belong to, right? Where uh, they organize these things for you. So they give you the
Yeah,
exposure they invite, uh, maybe it's like a mentorship thing, or where they invite professionals from the outside. They bring the person to you, or they host networking events under the auspices of the organization. So maybe for those that don't feel confident just yet to even take that next step on LinkedIn and scale the relationship up, or they're too shy, um, maybe just give us some of those organizations where people can sign up to become a member, and then you know they will
yeah.
be
So
exposed to networking.
yeah, there's so many if you Google, if you do your research. I mean, there's the Black Conveyancers Association, there's the Gauteng Lawyers Association, there's the Candidate Attorneys Association, there's the Van Center. There's Women in Conversation. There's this Friday Club networking events that you can attend. There's a lovely page on Instagram called the Networking Events Plug SA, and they actually have a calendar that they release every month. It's a networking calendar, and
Yeah.
every day there's a networking event. Some are free,
Mm-hmm.
some you have to pay for, some are in Johannesburg, some are in Cape Town. Have a look at their calendar. Like, I like to plan which ones I'm going to go to. Like I said, this month I'm not because I'm meeting people in person. But if
Mm.
you have the time and the budget, have a look at those pages, sign up to their newsletters, so that you can be notified when their next event is. May perhaps belong to some property networks. There's a women's property network, and then all these organizations, they host their own events, so you can go and
Mm-hmm.
attend these events and mix and mingle, and hopefully you meet some people at these events. Otherwise, I think, if you're too afraid, perhaps take a friend with you, or perhaps go in a group, um,
Mm.
and then go to these events so that you're not alone. I've seen quite a few ladies go in a group. They're all in one car and they go together to these events. Um, if you're afraid to go on your own, then go in a group. I think also from a safety perspective, it's probably best if you do take